together to crack down. And so look into how you can become a part of that. Get informed. I'm glad to know that we are, as a state, because we were recently named. The city of Atlanta was recently named one of the top 14 cities with
Yes.
abnormally high rates of human trafficking.
Hmm.
That's scary. And right here outside of our doorstep, Henry County, that sits right off of I-75,
Yep.
you're hearing more and more, sex trafficking victims um, out from that county alone. And so that's right here. That's our next door neighbors.
Yes.
You know,
And we are live on Facebook, on on YouTube now. Sorry,
are we
letting you
live on
know.
Facebook? It looks like
Yes,
okay,
and YouTube
and YouTube.
to the two people watching on there. So, just more options. But like I think you were just saying, but it's one thing to hear a statistic and to hear like these news stories and everything, but it's another thing to talk to somebody and to hear their what they have to go through on a daily basis, not knowing where their child is. And I believe Morgan was 17 when she disappeared, and very, very sad. And oh, my heart just completely goes out. Like as a mother, my kids are young, but that doesn't. They're not saved because of that.
No,
And
nobody
no.
is, they can be taken from schools. They can be
Hmm.
taken, in the grocery store. You can turn your back and your child can be gone. I mean, it's literally that fast. I mean, I've read some of the statistics, I've listened to some of the stories, and it's like, wow, and
Yes.
in really speaking to the addicts and to those that do face that mental health adversity, you know, they're luring you in. They know your weaknesses, they know those vulnerabilities, and they will prey on those. And they'll come in the form of this charming, everything that you wanted. I'll accept you, I'll love you, and I'll feed your addiction, whatever it may
Exactly.
be. I'll buy you that Michael Kors bag.
Hmm.
I'll get your nails done. I'll make you feel pretty. And the next thing you're involved in something. You're in the bottom of someone's basement
Right.
on an old dirty mattress.
And I mean, I haven't had personal experience with this, but when I was living in Athens and I was bartending, and there was a gentleman who would come in and he had a business card, and it was like a credit card, like, and it was all white and shiny, and he'd throw $500 in the tip jar for us, you know what I mean? And he always talks like, "Oh, you should come work for me. It's just bartending on the weekends, and you could make $2,000 a week." Da 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 da. And like for a split second, I did I did consider it because
Well,
well,
yeah,
it's too good to be true, and everybody likes that, right?
of course. I mean, you want to make
Uh-huh.
more money, you want more things, of course,
Yeah.
especially at that age,
And he offered me other things too, just kind of like playing to my ego. He's like, "Oh, we'll get you a bunch of new clothes and all the shoes you can handle." And one of my friends, she went for it. I didn't see her for 6 months. And then she calls me. She's living in New Hampshire. She had to escape this man, and you
Yeah,
know
because if you do try to get away, they will track you down. You have to basically
exactly.
go into
He
hiding.
owned her, and he told her that several times. He owned her, and that was. Mm,
I just, I mean, I felt that. I know that feeling. I know what that feels like to constantly, as a parent, know that your child could be, any one of our children can be taken, but knowing that, my child even more so fits that model, and that, she's more prayed after because
mm-hmm.
she's easier game. Like they can get to her a lot quicker because she'll just get in the car with whoever and do whatever. And you know, that feeling of desperation, knowing that at any moment that can happen, and it can be your children too. I hate to get so, deep about it, but if you aren't actively talking to your children, and letting them know of the potential danger and how to arm themselves against it, you're you're doing an injustice to your family.
Absolutely.
Um,
Um,
mm,
I mean, I remember one instance, and this is maybe a couple months ago, and somebody had come to the door, and this was somebody we didn't know, and I think I was in the kitchen, and they knocked, and it's hard to hear. I don't know why. It's hard to hear a knock on my door. And they answered it, and it's just like this strange man, and looking for somebody who didn't live there. And I had to, and I'm not usually very harsh with my children, but that day they saw a side of me they usually don't see. I just had to impress on upon them, like, we do not open the door for people we don't know. Just you don't open the door. Like, until you're 100 years old, you're not allowed to answer my
Ever.
door. Yeah. And now it's kind of funny because people that they know will be at the door and they're like, Mom.
Yeah. Get the door. You're in the bathroom. You're
Yeah.
like, just get the door. I know who it is. Let him
No,
in.
I'm not
Nope.
getting it.
Well,
Like, I really impressed upon them.
there's
Don't
so
answer the
much
door.
truth in that. Like we have to be different parents than we were, before. And sometimes you might have to cuss. Sometimes you might have to show them some
Mhm.
gruesome reality, um, because they're desensitized. These kids are so desensitized, and
Yes.
and and it mine especially, and the whole synapses in her brain that that connects danger to her actions is missing. And so
Mhm.
I've went to every extreme I could think of, and it still didn't work. But we don't live in that day and time where we can just sit around and pretend like, oh, it's not happening. It won't happen to me. It won't happen to my kids. They're smarter than that. Or we don't live in that type of neighborhood, or
Right.
whatever it is that you think you don't have, or you don't do, or you're not around. It doesn't, things like this can happen to any class, middle class, high class, poverty levels. It's
And it's so different from my childhood. I mean, I just remember I walked to school at I think the first grade.
Yeah.
I
Well, we were outside
walked.
all
I
the
was
time.
6. Yeah, and then you come home when the
The
street
street
lights come
lights.
on.
If you're
Except in the
thirsty, get
sum.
something out. You go get the out of the
Yeah,
spigot, the water
out of the
spigot.
spigot, or we
Eat
just
the
had
green
water
onions, the crab
fountains.
apples,
Yes. Oh my, or the honeysuckles.
honeysuckles. Oh yeah,
Yes, I
see, those
mean
were the
that's what we
times.
did. Yeah, and we just played at this park all the time. There was like 10 parks. And honestly, if a adult was there, I mean, all the kids would probably kick this adult's ass.
Right.
Like we banded together
Yeah. Yeah.
nobody messed with us just
Nope.
because we were strength in numbers, I guess.
Right.
And we were
Right.
not afraid to tattletale on you.
That's so funny you say strength in numbers, and that's because we didn't have phones. We didn't have things that would
Right.
preoccupy us.
We
So
had to hang out with people or
we
else we were
had to
bored.
have that personal connection, and our kids
Yeah.
have lost that. They have their own world that they've created inside their phones, inside their games that they're addicted to, or and so I think our teenagers and our young children spend a lot more time alone
Right.
per se than they used to.
And we didn't, I mean, we had Nintendo, and I remember we would play Power Pad and we would play Dr. Mario.
Oh my
And
God,
as
Dr.
we
Mario.
got older and a little bit more risque, we would play Strip Dr.
Spin,
Mario,
spin the
which I
bottle.
never lost because I was amazing at
Strip, Dr. Mario?
it. Yes. You never played things
Nope.
like that? This is
Sounds
my
interesting.
strange life. Okay. It was really fun, but only because I'm really good
At Strip, Dr.
at Dr.
Mario.
Mario in general.
Mm-hmm. Now you know more than you needed to know about your friend. How do you even play that?
If you lose, you got to take something off.
But you never, okay.
Lost.
Oh, okay. You never lost, so you didn't take anything off.
Please. I invented this game. It was at my house.
You would. All right, now y'all have a new game to play. I don't know what
You're
games are
welcome.
out now, but God. Anyway, moving on.
Moving on.
Awkward. So awkward. I'm still just kind of in, and I guess I can feel and understand. That's why I'm on my mission. It's hard for me to grasp that she's trying to be so dynamic, in her passion, because when her daughter's how I mean, for the short periods of time that my daughter's been missing, it was like lifetimes, eternities, and for her to be out here, like, I've got it, I guess I would probably be the same. I guess you just think about it in your head and you think, wow, like,
Yeah.
she's trying to change for others, who knows, what has happened. Keep that hope alive. But what do they say? I mean, I think it cuts the chances if they're missing beyond 42 or 72 hours, that the chances of finding them are significantly. I don't know the exact numbers, but it takes a lot of perseverance to get up every day and say, I'm still fighting the cause, even though I'm not sure, where my daughter is, I'm still going to fight the fight. I mean, and I feel like I guess I have that. I have that
Mm.
survivor mentality to do something like that. And my passion for mental health is that huge. But, it's people like this that, without them, and these recovery warriors, people that are so active in their communities, on the other side of the tragedy, we don't have these people. We have to be encouragers of this. We have to do what we're doing right now. And you need to share and like everything that, we put out there, especially because it's people like us that will continue to spread the message and can save that life. I mean, who knows? Maybe someone will see Morgan. Or, I don't
Right.
know. I believe in it. I think it could happen.
Absolutely.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just
Absolutely.
that's who I am.
Yeah.
But I think it's so important to
The
keep
hope
the
alive.
message alive. That's why we do this. That's why it's so important for us to be here and sit with you, twice a week. I wish I could do it every day. I think I'd run out of things to say. But,
No.
you know, there's so many people out there doing things like this, and they need to be exposed. They need that exposure, you know.
Exactly.
So I'm asking and urging you, like, definitely share Missing Morgan. And we've got it there in the comments. So we would really appreciate that.
Hmm.
Someone just say in the comments that she was found.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't see that.
Oh, oh, I'm actually looking
Oh, different
at the
one.
page. God
Like
bless it.
what?
Bless my heart.
um, yeah, and I saw a couple comments from the show. Keith says, "What's weird is we weren't raised that way as kids. So how did our kids get like that today?" Um, and I think it has a lot to do too. Like, when I was young, my whole family helped raise me. You know what I mean? Like my mom had two sisters and three brothers, and they all helped, and then my grandparents we lived with them, and then there was it's just this family togetherness. I think that's really important. It's like maybe this little missing piece. And, both my parents
Yeah,
did work,
I agree with that.
you know?
I think we have more and more broken families and
Yeah.
more and more isolation.
Hmm.
We don't have that I keep
That's,
saying it,
yeah.
that sense of humanity, even in
That
our
sense
own
of community,
families. Yeah, like
Yeah,
we need each other, we need each other to show
definitely.
up. If someone's and I think it's difficult and a lot more different when the child or the individual that you're asking to help care for faces some sort of mental health, challenge, or they're an addict of some sort. We
Right.
just want to wash our hands. We just want to. I can't deal with that. That's your problem. I don't want. And that's we need. Especially us parents of these individuals. Like I can't do it all on my own. I've
Right.
convinced myself for a very long time that I could, and I went into like a mental breakdown because of it. And as I started to reach out and put my pride aside and say, "Help me, please help me, I need help," those people actually show up and they are out
Right.
there. But um, we need that. We got to get that back. We have to have a community of people that we can depend on. And I have I'm so grateful. Like I said yesterday was a tough day for me. And the people that know me and know, it's hard when you're trying to be the light all the time and there's a lot of darkness in your life. It gets really heavy. But that knowing that I have that community to depend on, even if it's just them reaching out to me and saying, I'm praying for you. What can I do? Can I bring you some food? What do you want? Is there anything I can do?
Right.
More of that, just so
Just to
much
reach
more of
out.
that.
Yeah. And I know just as a single mom, some of my biggest challenges are just the parts of the day that I start to dread is, uh, there's just this time, I think it's just like at twilight, where the kids are winding down. I'm trying to wind down, and it's hard because they both want me to lay with them, and they both want me to rub their back, and they both want me to tell them a story. They don't want to do it together,
Yeah, it's
and
like
it's like,
you need another
I
you.
do. I am thinking about cloning me Just for that, like, 30
just
minutes a
for 30
day.
minutes.
Just for 30 minutes a day. And, or, sometimes when I have to bring them in from the car, when they're asleep, you know, or
Absolutely.
just like
Yeah,
things
it's
like that. I
hard,
don't
but
know. Oh,
and I think that someone just said, Candy said,
oh,
"I'm sorry, but these days I blame it a lot on the parenting." I agree with you, and
our
I
callers
feel like
here.
I've been. Oh,
Oh, Sherry?
Yes.
Hey, Sherry.
oh,
How are
hey,
you
Sherry.
doing?
Hello. I'm well. How are you?
Great. How are you
Good.
doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming on the show. We really, really appreciate you.
I appreciate you having me.
Awesome. So, would you like to start and tell us a little bit about Morgan?
Yes. My daughter Morgan has been missing in Atlanta. That is where her case is filed in Atlanta, Georgia. Since February 25th, 2016. She's currently, it has been a cold case, but it is an ongoing case with the Atlanta Police Department.
Hmm. Right.
Um, she we know that she went to Atlanta and arrived February 12th. She was there for 13 days. We know when she arrived, she was staying with someone from Craigslist, and she was going to clean their home until she could pay rent from a job. However, the next day, they asked her to leave. We're not sure why. From there, she stayed at a couple of different hotels and began dancing as an exotic dancer at Top of Gainesville in Gainesville, Georgia.
Hmm.
We know she was hired at a club in Atlanta. She needed to go get a license in order to be able to dance there. And she spoke to someone that evening saying that she needed to get to the new club. She hadn't made any money. And from there, her phone, nothing more. Her friends messaged her a couple of times. She never responds, and her social media goes completely dead. And we don't know exactly what happened to her after that. We know the last two people that saw her for sure up until that point that her phone went dead, and we don't know what happened after.
Wow. That is that is hard. When was that?
February 25th, going into the 26th,
Hmm.
2016.
So has there been anything since that day? Anything at all?
Um, of course, there's possibilities here and there, but there's
Right.
been nothing, no app, nothing, no, that we can
Like
actually
concrete.
report on. And yeah, there's nothing we can confirm. No,
Hmm.
no job, no. I mean, I have access to her social security information. She's registered, no job, no vehicles, no, there's just nothing.
Hmm. I mean, I just can't even imagine. My heart goes out to you. You know.
But thank you. I always tell everyone, don't imagine that. Just imagine her coming home.
Right. Right.
Absolutely. You have to keep that hope and faith alive that she's out there somewhere. I can relate to you, and I have a daughter that fits that model and has been in a situation, and so you know, I want to commend you for staying in the fight, and the fact that you're doing more than just that. You're trying to spread the word and the message about how very real human trafficking is, and so I'm proud of you. I'm so proud of you for being able to get up every day, because I know there has got to be a lot of days where you're just like, I don't want to do this. This is hard. I can
Right.
can't
I
imagine.
think oh um I think the biggest thing that I have learned through all of this when it comes to the human trafficking side is that we really don't understand how terrible the trafficking is across the world, let alone, just what's happening in our country.
Right.
When you um, when you start to talk about uh, the Americas and South America and things like that, the trafficking changes from 30 to 100% of the population, and we're not just talking, of course, as sex trafficking as we get down that way. It's more of organ trafficking and things like that. A lot of people losing their children, and so I just in especially when we're talking about Native American women, even in our country and in Canada, there's no numbers as to how many women are missing. And so I just feel like if I have to be in this situation, I might as well turn that pain into something better. And so staying connected and sharing information and telling people to look at each other, and love each other and care for each other and care for each other's children. It takes a village. It really does. And um, just looking out for each other and taking that opportunity helps you as a person be more grateful for your life, and then that you're putting something back into the future. I also know that there was a man, and this is how I keep going myself, is
Mhm.
I watched a video he had put out, and honestly, it's saved me because I was really struggling with, how I don't want to keep going, and I still have my moments, so I will take time and my self care time. But he made a video, and it was on the alchemy of happiness, and he was talking about um, happiness. The way we focus on happiness is more of a distraction rather than actually being happy. And he had talked about losing his son, and that um, after he lost his son, he had a choice. He could stay in bed all day crying and never accomplishing anything in his life, but that really wouldn't make anything better. He said, or I can just take each moment and make it just a little bit better than the last one. And that moment was the moment I think that it really changed the way I saw a lot of things in life, because I realized rather than just constantly distracting myself, I need to turn that pain into something better, and that I don't have a goal I'm trying to accomplish. I'm just trying to make it a little bit better. There's no end game. I don't have to be a healed person. I can be a person who's sad or struggling or having a bad day and still try to find, gratitude in each moment.
Yes.
Oh
And just
gosh.
hearing you speak, I know we had a conversation a couple maybe weeks ago, a couple days ago, and you were talking about seeing everybody in the situation through the eyes of love and forgiveness, and praying for the happy outcome. And I just thought that was absolutely beautiful. Like, and I don't know, it just stayed with me. It was so poignant, and I've tried to incorporate that into into my life, and I just wanted to tell you that you've touched me. You've touched my heart, and I've changed from it.
I appreciate I appreciate that so much. I have days where like you said, you're not sure if what you're doing means means anything or if it matters. So I really appreciate you saying that very
Oh,
much. I
you so matter. So
Oh
I
my
matter.
gosh.
appreciate
You
you.
have
Like, I
no
mean,
idea how much you
yes.
matter. Right
Yeah.
now,
I think we have, like, a couple dozen people crying right now of
Oh,
just listening to you, just and with compassion, with just compassion and empathy, and
if there's any doubt at all in your mind, today or any other day, know that I needed to hear from you today.
oh,
absolutely.
I needed
thank you.
to hear you say the things that you said when you said it's okay to have a bad day and it's okay to be broken and sit in that. Um, but know that you're still, you've got to get back up and you've got to keep going. I I feel that and I know that.
Absolutely.
So, oh, I wish I could just hug you.
I know. It's just gonna send you my
Thank you.
love.
Oh,
Just
thank you.
through this
Your
microphone.
story is so huge. It is happening, more rampantly and with a great ferocity in our society. And the things that we try to speak about on this show are really rocking us. They are really it is a it is huge. And they're all tied together in some way. And I talked about earlier, the reason that we need to address this on this show in particular is because you're so much more susceptible, you know, to human trafficking when you're coming out of a place or coming from an addictive personality, or you're facing some sort of mental health challenge, because you just want to be accepted, and these people make you feel like this is the place you found it. No one else on earth will love you or care about you, but we will. And in reality, they're just pulling you further down into the depths of what it is that you're struggling with already. And I have to believe that she's out there. I have to believe that.
Well, I think that is the only way. You just have to keep holding on to hope and keep directing your energy in a positive way towards that goal and learning what other people are going through. Everyone, as you're saying, everyone has a story, and all of these, the people who are being trafficked, and even the traffickers themselves. I've been asked, what terrible thing would I do, this and that, and my answer is real simple, that I wouldn't do that. I would really want to know, like, why, what's going on with you, what happened to you
Right.
that made you feel that doing this was okay. Like, how do we heal? I don't want to destroy anyone. I want them to be healed so that they don't want to continue um, these activities, or these actions. That's where it comes from. And you're right. The girls who do enter, even if they can become exotic dancers, or sell their bodies on the street, or whatever happens to them in their life, they still don't choose
Right.
for bad things to happen to them. That's it's still
Not at
not
all.
these. No, they're people. These are human beings that are struggling or suffering, and as you said, could be addiction, or in LGBTQ communities, there's a lot of,
Absolutely.
children that are put out, and there's just so many stories, and it's not about how to make them suffer or how to punish them for the horrific things they've done. How do we heal them so
Hmm.
they don't continue these horrific actions? I think
Absolutely.
that's
Identifying that and
Yes.
and working through it, and finding that place of healing, because it's going to look different for everyone. We have to stop throwing that judgment around. You were so right.
Absolutely. I mean, I think the last place we need to come from is a place of judgment and scorn and should know better kind of attitude. I mean, I don't, that's never saved a life, I can tell
No.
you, you know?
no, nobody chooses. People don't choose the terrible things that happen to them, and a lot of times, you don't know. We're not taught how to deal with our anxiety and our depression. We're
Right.
not
No.
taught how to deal with feeling like we're not good enough, or we're not worthy to even be taking our next breath sometimes, right?
Exactly.
So
Hmm.
how we have to instill that love in every person that we meet along the way. Even when we're having bad days, maybe we just don't say anything, right? But if we can't help people, at least don't harm them. And if there's somebody harming someone else, let's find out how we can help them stop harming other people. Why? What is going on with them? What is the so much pain? You have to
Right.
imagine that. And I know that there are some people that they truly feel that they have a right to do the things that they're doing, and you know, on some end, they still need help with empathy, I guess, in those areas. So there's always some room, I guess, for improvement as a society and as communities as a whole.
Yeah, and that's why more of this has to happen. There has to be more light than there is darkness, and that's not. I think we're getting there. I think we're making great efforts and great strides to get there, and so let's not discount that. But you're right. Why are we harming? Why aren't we helping? Why aren't we reach out your hand instead of being slanderous or whatnot? Like we just help them have the accountability to do better. Show them,
Right.
teach them what the tools and give them the resources that they need to be better, and I'm not, and I have to say this because I am that light bringer and I have such an immense love and I am that empath. Um, it is more than that. You do have to, but people don't know what they don't know, and if you can't equip them to be better, you can't hold them accountable. And we've
Like,
just, we've built families that are just repeating genetic behaviors over and over because that's all that they know.
Right.
Um, and I used to say, because I come from one of those families, and I used to say, well, when I turned 18, I was old enough to know better, and I should have made better choices. Well, there's some truth to that. There is some truth to that. But I had already, my brain had already kind of programmed itself to thinking like you're going to be an addict like your parents. You're not going to have anything. You're probably going to get pregnant early, and you're just, you're going to live that. That's what you're going to do. And it wasn't until I was shown better and started to educate myself and knew that I could do those things that that wasn't my reality
And
anymore.
I actually was listening to something today, and it said that most of our programming happens by the age of 7. And then we live from this, our subconscious mind. So some of the decisions that we make, they don't come from a conscious place where, oh, I'm making this decision because of this reason. We're programmed to do it already. It's like it's the hardware. And what our job is to download new software. Yep.
Reprogramming, and it is
Until it becomes the hardware.
absolutely, it has everything to do with that. I believe in that 110%.
Hmm.
Um, I don't know how. I kind of want to kind of go back to something that's kind of pressing on my heart for you. You know, were there any signs, and I guess kind of helping educate other parents, and are there ways that you felt like things that you noticed that were starting to happen with Morgan that made you aware that she was going to be kind of more of a victim for something like this, or what, or was there any?
absolutely not, actually. No. When Morgan was a child growing up, she was raised, she had a secret code word. If anyone was going to pick her up from school, she knew. She knew to yell, "This is not my mom or dad." She knew to get into a car accident. If somebody ever puts you in their car because it'll draw attention. So she was raised knowing all of the safety precautions I could possibly come up with.
Right.
Um, of course, when she went to Atlanta, posting, I didn't know that she was dancing as an exotic dancer. She was angry with me. She wasn't really speaking to me at all. So um, I did see the post on her Facebook that said, "And I work here at the Tees nightclub." And at that moment, I was concerned because, of course, she's my child in a possibly unsafe environment, but it's also my daughter,
Right.
Morgan, who with a loving heart, she really does have. She's also a spicy kind of a girl,
Yes.
and so there wasn't anything, no alarms that would have said that she was in a situation that she couldn't get herself out of. She was posting every day constantly. She was talking to
Mhm.
her friends. She was sharing information. She seemed like she was happy. Um, Even though we know obviously that there were other things going on, but she seemed like she was happy.
Right.
There weren't any signs. There wasn't anything that I feel I could have done, honestly, any differently. I really don't think there's anything anybody could have done any differently in the situation, except maybe Morgan, when she got into a situation, where she was asked to leave the Craigslist house and she really didn't have anything at that moment. She knew she had money coming. So I'm a, s- you know, so she just wanted to make her way. I just wish she
Right.
would have reached out and said she just needed some help. And that's the only thing I wish would have happened. But other than that, there's just really nothing that I think could have been done differently. Other than Morgan not going on her own. I mean, there's a 10 million list of things like
Right.
that.
The
But
what
Sure.
coulda,
in the
shoulda. Yeah. The
situation,
what
right? In
ifs.
the
Yeah.
situation as it was playing out,
Hmm.
I don't think anything could have been done differently. She's a girl from South Dakota. She just didn't know better,
Right.
She
Right.
just, we have
And
to
our
forgive ourselves
I
for
hope
not knowing what we didn't know until we knew them.
right. And I hope our children don't expect these things to happen. You know what I mean? Like,
Well,
Right. It
yeah, you
shouldn't
hate to
yeah,
be.
keep them in a
exactly.
box, and you
Yeah.
hate to not let them want to like explore this big great world and have adventure and excitement. I mean, you want them to have that,
Right.
but it's just the danger in it now is it's just as we touched on earlier, like there's always been danger of some sort, but you know, we are pushing as a society into it's some very dangerous, you know,
Dangerous
times,
grounds. Yeah.
dangerous grounds, dangerous times. And so, the importance of what you're saying is sometimes there are no signs and sometimes it can happen so quickly and without warning and you know that's it. And that's why it is imperative and so important to love each other and check on each other and go out of your way. And, you know, I overly compensate, I think, with my youngest child because I'm always like, how are you? And I mean, this morning she sent me a picture from school and she was in prayer. They have a prayer meeting that she can go to in the mornings, and she was there, and she just took a picture and sent it to me, and I said, will you pray for me while you're there because I'm having a tough time, and she said, I have to pray for myself right now, and I was immediately like, what's the matter, because I have another daughter that is
Right.
it's just constant chaos, and I'm automatically thinking, oh my gosh, that fear is always there, and so I would rather overly love and overly check on you and and I want to I want to do that for everybody that I know, because you don't know what someone is facing and what they're dealing with, and just like Morgan not showing any outward signs, just
Right.
being her own individual self, and never in a million years as a mom would you have thought, you know,
That could
something like
happen.
this could happen or would happen.
Sherry,
Yeah.
was there anything like, is there any like information that you have of like the last person she was seen with, or any information about that person, or any leads at all?
Yes, we know the last two people that she was with. We know that they gave a couple of different stories about
Uh-huh.
um, what they did after Morgan got in the vehicle with them. And I know their names. I know where the woman is. The man, I believe I know what state he's in right now, but he's a little bit more. He's transient. He rides trains and takes cars at this at tags up spray paints artwork anyway.
Right.
Um, so and she just had a child about a year ago, and she's having another one actually. So yeah, I know who they are. The That just gets into a whole nother story. The police not speaking to them for quite some time, almost a year.
Mm.
After I talked to Internal Affairs, their phones and records were never checked because they say they don't have enough probable cause. And the story just goes on and on. So I do know who they are, just nothing's ever been done. He was in custody. I reached out to Atlanta Police Department when Alex was in custody in um, California, and the Atlanta Police Department never spoke to him. So I just have to do things this way um, on my own with the help of so many beautiful people like you.
Oh, thank you. Is there anything that, I don't know, is there anything that like we could do right now, like in this moment, the people listening, just to, I mean, other than share this right now, like what else can we do? What can be done? I'm just asking you because I feel like you would know.
I know, right?
Just what can we
I
do?
promise I'm a deer who's just shed her antlers in all of this.
Oh,
So
yeah.
every step I take is new territory, but really at this point, just sharing her information so people see her face
Yeah.
is really the only thing I can advise anyone to do. I mean, I've exhausted every avenue. If you think of a TV show, share her information with that show, or
Right.
if you think of anywhere that you could share her face. And look at people. That's the other message I really want to give is, we're looking at our phones and, we're desensitizing ourselves from connecting on an individual level. Maybe put your
Right.
phone down when you go for a walk down the street and smile and look someone in the eyes and just, you might see a whole story in that moment
Right.
and save someone just because you looked at them, or you might see someone who needs a free hug, or, whatever we can do just to take one moment to really connect with each other. And you don't know, you might see my daughter in a situation or someone else's daughter, and she's just walking down the street wishing someone would just look at her so she could mouth the word help,
Right.
anything.
Wow.
And so just taking those moments and sharing her picture and her information, that's really all I can ask anyone to do.
Well, that's beautiful advice. I mean, and it transcends not just this situation, but just every situation that a person can be in where they would need help. Um, I've been in situations myself where I didn't feel safe, but I also didn't feel safe reaching out to anybody either,
Mhm.
But if I had gotten a smile,
Yes, yes, we
or
have
a,
to be more lighthouses for
exactly.
people. Like, there's so much truth in what you just said. I'm not safe. I'm not safe within myself. I don't feel safe expressing how I
Mhm.
feel to anyone else because of the condemnation and the judgment that is just thrown around like candy. We sprinkle that like it's so easy for us to judge someone else for their actions or where they've
Right.
been or you know you I mean, it really is as simple as putting yourself in someone else's shoes. I'm speaking to the parents that are out there of children. If Morgan was your daughter, it these things have to start hitting home. You have to stop waiting for the shock value. The next abduction, the next murder, the next suicide, the next, overdose. Why are we waiting until it's in front of our face? Why are we so we want it's like we crave that. We crave this and we can be on the other side. We can be the warriors preventing that from happening. I want to see things on the news that make me want to watch it. And
Right.
I don't get off or get a high from watching the stuff that's on the news.
I haven't
I
watched the
can't.
news in years, like purposely not watched the news.
I can't do it.
Very depressing.
It is.
No, because the stories that you see aren't
Well, they're
real anyway.
Yeah, well
sensationalized.
they're
So
media
Exactly. It's
driven.
not.
They
right, and
are.
Yeah.
they're cut and polished to look the
Exactly.
way that the media wants them to look. I know because I've done a ton of stories with the media. So
Right.
that's why speaking this way and really communicating and this is why I'm really open on Morgan's Facebook group page. I want
Right.
people to know I'm real. I'm here. I don't just I really stay connected because it's important. That connection to each and every person matters, and letting everyone know that they matter and creating that safe space for people.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is if we're ignoring it and waiting until it happens to us to take any action,
Right.
we're not going to be able to succeed. But here's the thing. If we stop putting down our phones, for example, and start looking around, people are going to be less apt to do things they shouldn't do. For example, I understand if you put, say, a pair of eyes on the outside of a tip jar, people are less apt to steal your tips, for example, because of the eyes on it makes them feel like they're being watched.
Just the
So
googly
imagine if you,
eyes. Right.
right. So
Right.
imagine
That's
if you put
amazing.
your phones down and you use your own googly eyes, right? And every
Right.
human
I love
being is
that.
starting to look around, and people now have to be aware and start watching themselves because they know they're being watched by the rest of us. Not judge, just watch, because we want to honor each other and our highest selves. And we want everyone to do good and not harm themselves by creating toxicity, negativity, and chaos in our lives.
Exactly. Beautiful. Beautifully said. Um, I just, like, so I can't even speak hardly. I'm just emotional, I
Mm.
guess. Um, I really want everybody to just kind of like visualize and see, go to the Missing Morgan page and just see her walking through her mother's front door. You know, that's what I want, because I think that the feeling and the seeing of it, I think when we use all our senses, that's the highest form of prayer that we could give to someone, you know. And just
Just
all
like we
these girls,
envisioned our feathers and our
right?
marbles. Like, take that
They
moment
came.
to envision, see her. You know, I don't know her, but I want to envision giving her a hug and shaking her hand and welcoming her home and letting her know that this is, you know, she's in her safe place, and what can we do to heal you, and just thousands of people coming around her. You know,
Exactly.
that's what I see.
Thank you. Manifesting her coming home in prayer. I have no words for the gratitude. I have no way to express all the love I have for everyone who just takes a moment. Well, for all of you, but anyone who especially takes a moment and just thinks a good thought. You know, that energy matters, and you know it helps us to connect too. We're all
Right.
thinking one thought at the same time. You
And
know,
that's
and
so
magic.
powerful. That is so powerful. We all just took, like, maybe we set a time, like right now. What's a good time for you, Sherry?
7 o'clock.
Okay. That's beautiful. Is there any like reason 7 o'clock's
Oh, seven's just a great one of my lucky numbers, I guess.
good? Beautiful. All right. 7 p.m. tonight, y'all. Please set a reminder in your phone. I'm going to do it
Right
now.
now, pick up your phones. We're doing it
I'm going to
right
do it
now.
right now. And at 7
Eastern
p.m.
time. Eastern
Eastern,
time.
yes. All right. Let's do it. 7 p.m. tonight. And and this goes beyond prayer. We're going to visualize this, manifest this. You know, we're going to see it, we're going to feel it, we're going to hear it. I believe there are videos on there of Morgan's laugh. Go and listen to that,
Right.
okay? And
Yes.
play it, you know, while you're saying this prayer. You know, we can do this. I
We're
think.
gonna say that I want you to put manifesting Morgan in your phones. 7 o'clock. I want you to spend a time of your day and looking through. Join this group. Look at her. You know, listen to her laugh. Listen to her talk. Just and at 7 o'clock tonight, we're gonna manifest.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
And I'll create a little post on her missing page to
Yes.
create that energy, also to make sure that not only share this, but also make sure that there's just something out there that says, "Hey, let's just do it." Manifesting Morgan at 7 o'clock.
Yes. You mentioned that the alchemy of happiness. Do you know who did that video?
I will find it and repost it on her
Awesome.
page as well, and I'll find the video of her laughing and repost those, so they'll be posted right to the
Yeah,
top.
have
Those
them,
three
or
things.
maybe pin
Beautiful.
them. Just make them fresh so that everyone.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm gonna share this on my personal page,
Yes.
and just encourage as much sharing as possible, and just people from all over the nation, the world, hopefully,
Yes.
can join us. And it's these simple acts, you guys. It's these simple, taking that time out of your day to do something so simple but
And it
so
doesn't have to be
human.
long. We can do this for 5 minutes.
Right.
That would be incredibly powerful. Incredibly powerful if we all got together and just did this. I mean, I'm going to include my kids and we're going to do this. I mean, this is important. Is there any other way that we can support you, Sherry?
Just share her pictures,
Mhm.
share her videos. There's a YouTube page with videos on on YouTube, obviously, but you can find all that in the group as well. Just sharing her pictures, and you know, if any other ideas, you're welcome to share them. Again, I always respond right away. I'm on the page, and forgive me, but I've exhausted a lot of things, so I never try to shut anybody down. But I will let you know if we've done that or not,
Right.
and where we are with that. So, but other than that, I really cannot come up with any other way. I just raised her reward money to $10,000
Wow.
for her birthday in April, and so there's just really nowhere else to go right now, except again just continue sharing and looking at her picture.
Will do. Absolutely. I have kind of a silly question, but I just feel like, honoring Morgan right now. What was your favorite thing?
About Morgan,
Yes.
that she would do.
Yes.
So she liked to make it made me crazy, but I have this weird thing like, well, there's like three different things. Like one thing was I don't know, when you blow on my ear, it makes me laugh. She would literally hold me down and blow on my ear till I'm almost peeing my pants laughing. She would hang Miley Cyrus made me crazy. She would hang Miley Cyrus posters all over my house and then change my iPod stations and, on my phone and Pandora stations to Miley Cyrus because she was crazy like that. And of course, her laugh, her laugh. And,
Yes.
and I'll post that to the top of the page again. But her laugh is so contagious. Like you can't, when she laughs, you just can't
not laugh with
not
her.
like,
Yeah.
you can't. It's just impossible, in that
Yeah.
smile, she had, I don't know, she just has this energy that you can't describe. Like it's just so bright. She's just such an amazing person. I'm just proud of her for 1,000 things, and
Yes.
I just think she's amazing.
She is. She
But
sounds
yeah,
absolutely gorgeous. She is gorgeous. Sounds
She
amazing.
is.
And the way that you honor her, and I feel like have found your own healing, I think is incredible. Like you should teach it.
well, I am a yoga instructor.
You are.
Of course you are.
Awesome.
I
That is
knew.
amazing.
See, we
both are.
Yeah. See, yes. So that's what I do, and my focus is anxiety and depression. So, and it is that's
Beautiful.
yeah. I do teach it, and there's this great song by Satsang, and one of the lines in one of the songs is, "If there's blood in my hands, can I still preach?" And
Oh,
that's my
wow.
question every day. Like with all of the the pain or cause, the things that I've done in my life, can I still move forward and help others and heal others? Who am I to say? But yes, you can. That's how that's how you can tell the story. That's how you can help others. So don't doubt yourself.
Right.
If you feel like you can help someone, help them. Don't question it. Just be
Beautiful.
grateful you were there.
Absolutely. Do you have any do you have a yoga website or anything that we can plug?
Yes,
Okay.
I'm actually just going to be changing my stuff up this month, getting a little crazy. But right now, you can find my link on Facebook as Awake and Rising Reiki and Yoga, and
Beautiful. I
yeah, so
like
you can find
that.
me right there. Yeah,
Okay. Tell me again. Awake and
Awake and
rising. Oh,
Rising
came right up.
Reiki and Yoga. Yeah, and I'm teaching yoga currently in Bennington, Vermont, at the Green Mountain Oasis, Mondays and Thursdays at 6:15.
Beautiful.
Amazing. I knew
Tonight, I
it.
am taking a self-care day, though. I said,
Much
Good
needed.
for you.
Cannot
yes.
blame you in
Good
any
for
way.
you.
That's amazing. All right, I'm going to share that link on our page so everybody can go like that because it's a beautiful site too. Look at that. So, I'm also uh, looking into Reiki. I have a teacher who's a master, so it's just getting together
Right.
for
Yes,
the
it's
next 6 months.
right. I really love the connections with Reiki too. I
Mhm.
love talking about energy, and I always really talk about it in a scientific way, and so it really helps other people too. So if anybody has any questions, they're welcome to reach out about any of it. And if you're struggling, or if you're having a day, if you don't know if you can make it, if you're just at your wits' ends, if your knees have hit the floor and you don't know how to get up off them, you're welcome to reach out to me at any time. Like, I'm here and I get it,
Oh,
for real.
Oh, I'm so grateful for
So
my
grateful for this
just
conversation.
ever expanding tribe of people who are just like me,
Mm.
because you
Yeah,
start to
Yeah.
feel like,
you're
you
all
know,
alone.
you're all alone. And I know that I'm not, but it's in those, like, yet I keep going back to this, but everything that you've touched on was, even for someone that does so, I try so hard to bring that light every day, and I try so hard to be that person. Yesterday was a dark day. It was dark. And I know all of the things to do. I know, and I didn't do not, I couldn't, it was so heavy. I couldn't do not one of them. Now, today was a different day, and I got up and I did all those important self-care things. But even when you are that person and you proclaim yourself to be that person, we still have those days too. It's still such a struggle, and it's so heavy that you can't even lift your own body to move. You can't even do what makes it better. And so that's why you have to increase your tribe of people. You have to keep reaching out for the light and know that those people will come to you, because they will. You just have to keep reaching out into the darkness, and call to it. Call the light to you. Um, I know that sounds silly to some of you, but you need to hear it. You need to hear that there are so many of us out there that want to help you, that will pick up our phones at 12:02 in at night, and
Yeah.
say, "What can I do?" Even if it's just to sit
How
with
can I
you.
help?
How can I
Or
help?
just listen. One thing that does give me comfort is it's like the only thing I think I've learned in life really is that, you know, to appreciate anything good in my life, I have to experience like the dark depths of its very opposite.
Yes.
You know, just anything. Friendships. I didn't have good friendships. I didn't have good relationships. I didn't have uh, just a lot of things that I had to go through and experience. And I feel like now it's to appreciate what I do have.
So
Right? Do you remember when you prayed for everything that you have right now?
Oh my gosh, that's my
she says
favorite
it
quote.
all the
Right?
I
time.
do. I say it all the
All
time.
the
Yeah.
time.
And I
Even
do.
though
I
it's hard to
distinctly
hear
do.
that some
Yes,
days, right? But it's
absolutely.
true.
I've
It
had like debilitating days, where I just like you said, can't get out of bed
It's
or
like a
or do get out of
physical.
bed. Yeah, I
Yeah, you
mean,
just can't even. I mean, just to pick up my hand yesterday I it was I couldn't. And I was like, what is it? And I know, like I talked about earlier with Chrissy, I know, feeling that feeling my whole life, knowing, owning the fact that I'm an empath, and it's not just my pain that I
it's the
feel,
world's pain.
it's the world. And I truly let that rest on my shoulders, because I know I have the ability to change it. I know I have, the ability to be part of a group of people, who are crazy enough to believe that they can change the world. And those are the ones that do. Jack Kerouac, I think, said that.
Very
That's
nice.
right. Like, how do they say, if you don't think you can be the change, at least stay out of the way of us that are.
Right.
Oh,
Like,
I love
shut your
that.
mouth and move out of the
Yeah.
Right?
way,
Like,
because
just, that's all right. You don't have to do that. Just don't get in my way, because I have a lot of work to do, in this lifetime. And so you got to, like, just keep going. And I know sometimes you will leave people behind. And I know sometimes you're going to accelerate forward and become all of these things really quickly, but it's all
Yeah.
really about connection. And we are all that. We're all empaths. Some of us just don't choose to feel that connection. And,
Exactly. Yes.
so it's really how much of yourself do you choose to honor, and, how much truth are you seeking? So, and that's my goal. I'm seeking the truth, and, it's a painful undoing.
Absolutely. And there's a lot to undo. I think we're from birth kind of filled with lies. Like even the food you eat as a baby is a lie. Like that's not milk,
yeah,
you know?
No,
That's
no,
like that's
right?
not a
that's not
vegetable.
right.
That it's just oh man, there's so much undoing. And it's a constant undoing. I'm running into things like now that just show up in every way like that's not who you are. That's not you. And I have to forget who I think I am on a daily basis and try to be the truth and the soul inside, and
Right.
connect with that instead of connecting to the story I've told myself over and
The
over about
lies,
who
they
I
never go
am and,
away.
what I deserve and what I'm capable of. And, I really want to just stop putting any limitations on myself at all. I can have the dream, and I'm starting to believe that, I can have it all and I want it all. There's nothing wrong with that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you should. You
Yeah.
should have it. It doesn't matter where you've been, where you come from,
Right.
and we say this a lot. Don't live back there. And you can't necessarily live in the future. You plan and dream for the future, but all we have, like we just have these moments where we spend with each other, make them powerful, make them worth it, make them connecting to other people, make them educating yourself, growing stronger, fueling your body with better foods,
Right.
speaking more kindly to yourself. Oh my gosh, what you just said, that was me all day yesterday. It was like, Christina, but you know what you were meant to do, and you know that you are powerful, and you know that you are better, and you are going to do something others cannot or will not. They can, but they will not. But
Choose not
still the
to.
enemy sits there and it talks to you and it says, no, you can't. You're not strong enough. And you know, it's so I needed to hear from you today. And I know I'm focusing so much on me and how much it's affecting me, but all the things that you said were that's how I was yesterday. And this is what I do for a living. Like this is what I do.
Yeah.
And here I am being very like naked and honest and saying, even me, I have to me more so than anybody, like I need people, and I
Right.
need people to be kind. I need people to challenge me and tell me to get it together, but I need kindness most of all. I've had enough of
Right.
the shitty. I
We're
know
done.
bad.
Yes.
I don't
I got my PhD in
I
that.
am well versed in that.
Does
So,
it take 30 years to be an expert, right? I'm like,
Oh, wow.
bypass
oh, I
it.
got and plus 10.
Survivor. Yeah.
So I'm like
I've learned Survivor.
more than an
Yes,
expert.
the wounded healers right here. I just have a question. So it says Reiki animal practitioner. Do you practice on animals or with animals or both?
On animals.
Amazing.
Oh,
So
that's
Amazing.
incredible.
it's just the opportunity to, it was just a little bit more of a practice. So it was more of a connection with animals, how to deal with them specifically, and so that's why the animal practitioner was just important to me. I have two small dogs that I rescued.
Oh,
And I just want to just the opportunity to heal, like even the animals in our ocean as they're near me or this or that, or, if I go by like there was this orangutan, like a rescue, I guess,
mm-hmm.
or a monkey rescue, I guess, in Florida. And, when I would go by there, I would send, healing energy to those animals and, just do things like that. So it's just a way to just stay connected to the planet on a deeper level,
Yes,
I
Mother
guess.
Earth is
Y'all, you need
everything.
to up your loving one another game. This woman is dealing with
Right. She's
like
stealing
the
the
most
show.
horrifying nightmare you can
Right.
possibly imagine. And she's out here like,
Loving
healing
others.
orangutans and ocean creatures.
And to even have the capacity to want to do that and to move beyond your own pain. I mean, I think that's like angelic.
It is
It really is.
divine. It's divine. I love that word. We use it so much, but I love that because you could have taken this in such a different direction. You could be completely addicted to alcohol or drugs, or this could have went somewhere else, which it does. And there's no fault. And if you've lost a child and I know someone personally that lost a child and turned to alcoholism, and it actually ended up killing her. And so you know, there's no judgment or shame in that. But, to be able to take that deepest, darkest, like that pain and say, I've got to use it for good. I've got to, I've got to do something else. That there's not words to me to describe that.
Amazing.
And my respect for you is immense. I, I am so touched by this. And this was God's way of saying to me, there's always somebody's story that you need to hear to make you re-examine your own and say, you
Mhm.
can, you know, keep doing what you're doing, get your head out of your ass, and buck up. And thank you. I just cannot tell you how thankful I am for today.
Well,
And I
I'm
haven't
so
said it
grateful for you
enough. I'm
too.
say it again.
Thank you all so much too. I just appreciate all of your words. Again, it resonates so much. I guess I need to hear that stuff too sometimes because again, it's hard. It's hard to, it's hard. It's just hard. So many different directions, but
Absolutely.
I'm just so grateful to know that it matters and it means something. Thank you. And thank you for sharing Morgan's information and just having the show where you're sharing the opportunity to connect and, I just appreciate you all so much.
We
Thank you.
appreciate you and your strength and the wisdom I think that we've all gained just from hearing you speak and the beauty that you are. Like I mean, I don't know what you look like and I've never met you, but you just like exude this beauty that's just
I can
it's
feel
so
it.
deep, it's to the soul, it's to the bone, and there's no pretense with you. It's just this is who I am, this is what I'm dealing with, this is how I deal with it, and it's absolutely beautiful. I think that, um, you should just be studied.
Yes, I agree. I think, this is how we're supposed to be. This is who we are supposed to be.
Yes, it's
Um,
amazing.
and it shouldn't just we shouldn't have to say we have so much respect for you or, this is incredible what you're doing. It is a part of our humanity. This is who we were created to be. We are supposed to love each other on this level. And the simple
Right.
truth is that we don't, and so we've got to get it back. We've got to bring it back. Open your hearts, open your minds. Just because one of you likes Donald Trump and the other, like your
Who
political views, like
cares?
at the end of the
God.
day, it's fine. However you
Right.
think and feel, it's fine. But like, you're still a human being, and it is your due diligence to
Right.
love
It's kind
the
of
person
sad.
beside you.
Yeah, it's sad that like in this day and age, like a point of contention for never speaking to someone again is like who they voted for, It's just
What
I
how
just don't
shallow is that? I mean,
understand
I'm
that.
sorry if
I
you're
don't
like or your
understand that.
religion or the color of your skin or your
Yes,
sexual
all these things
preference.
that just don't at the end of the day, you know, if you put two people beside each other and maybe they just talk about life and their experience with it, I bet they'd have so much in
Oh my
common.
gosh, yeah. Yeah, and that would be
Any two people.
polar opposites, polar
Yes.
opposite people with completely different belief systems. And I'm curious about that. Like, I want to know people like that. I want to know people on that level. Tell me your story. Tell me how you got here. I don't care who you voted for. I don't care you know, who you lay down in the bed with at night. I don't care. None of
Right.
that, I have my own personal views on that. And if we want to have that discussion, we'll have it in a very back and forth sort of way. I'll never argue with you, but you know, like open your minds and open your hearts.
To love.
Um,
Yeah, and if you really start talking to people, you'll see that the the division that people think is out there
Mhm.
really isn't. It really isn't there. It's an illusion that's created. If you just start talking to somebody without knowing anything about them, you'll realize how much you really have in common. And there's always something that connects you. So even if you don't connect on a political or religious or spiritual level, you could connect on a popcorn level, right? Or
Oh
an
my
ice cream
God.
level.
Yes.
right.
There's a way, right? Or a pizza level, right? There's other levels of love, like walking in a park has nothing to do with any of that. Like
Right.
it doesn't have to
The
be so
ocean.
hard. Yeah,
Yes.
we're all connected. It's just
Yes.
realizing it, and that's why looking at each other in each other's eyes and just seeing that, like, she's having a bad day today. I'm having a bad day. I'm just gonna smile at her, and then she smiles back and like, see,
Right.
I did something good, and now you both feel better. It's so
And it's so
simple.
I
It
was
really
just
is,
gonna say that's
and
so
free.
simple. And it releases chemicals in the brain, oxytocin, that is like the happiness chemical. It literally a hug, like a more than like 7-second hug releases it. Or, a smile from a stranger, staring into somebody's eyes releases it. You know what I mean? So there's not all you have, you don't have to do all these things to be happy. You have to
No.
do these very, very simple things, which is all about connection and getting outside your own head
Mhm.
and out
Right.
of your own ass and love somebody
Pulling your
else,
crown chakra out of your
Right.
root chakra.
Ah, I
Yeah.
love that. That's beautiful. Yes.
Yeah, it is. It
I
totally
just did
is.
this like chakra meditation earlier today. Do you know Dr. Joe Disperza? Are you
No, I don't
familiar
think
with him?
so.
Oh my gosh. So anyway, it's just like you breathe in. It's just like this breathing exercise, but you like pull in the energy like through the body. And it was amazing. It was amazing. Weird, but
More of that.
Yeah, no.
It's not weird to me at all.
Not weird to me. I'm
Oh
like,
yeah.
It's probably
seems
weird
pretty
to our
normal.
listeners. They're probably
Maybe.
like, all right, we're done
Yeah.
with this conversation.
So the views is
The views just went down.
sorry, y'all.
Sorry, we
I
got
can't
got
help
too
it.
deep. But really, it what we're discussing. It's the root of all of our major world global problems, and I mean
Right.
this whole human trafficking thing. It starts with that. You could pass along a smile or a hug or an "Are you okay?" to a young woman or young man who could have the next thing that they could have done could have put them in one of these human trafficking rings. And it could be something that small. And I know you think, oh yeah, right, whatever. It's serious, like it is. It's something that small, and having you know being that safe place. Our youth are in desperate. The youth have my heart. You guys know that. Like they're in desperate places right now. They are in just, and they're calling out to
Absolutely.
us. They're crying out, and it. You see it in different ways, but we've got to show up. We got to show up for them and be that. They're not. They're going to say some things that make you cringe, and you're going to have some discussions about some stuff that's going to be hard as a parent. But you got to do it. You got to do it.
Absolutely.
Right. And just taking that moment for real, like, and if you don't think that that moment really matters, I'll tell you that just looking at someone and saying, oh my gosh, I love your hair today,
Right.
that could have
So who I
literally
am.
saved them from committing suicide,
Hmm.
from going and purchasing drugs that they've been trying to be sober off of because they're having a really bad day. That moment could prevent literally wanting to hurt themselves from doing drugs and getting themselves into a trafficking situation, all because you told someone that their hair looked nice today.
Right.
So
So
really,
simple.
these things do matter. They
Mhm.
do.
They matter so much, actually. Mm. Well, Sherry, this has been just an absolute, absolute pleasure.
I
I
I can't
mean,
even. I don't have the
I mean,
words.
it's been like wrenchingly emotional, but I don't know. I feel so passionately towards who you are as a person and what you're doing in this world, and I just, I think there needs to be 10 million more like you.
There
Agreed.
are.
There are.
There
They just
are.
haven't
There are.
realized it yet.
Or they need this platform. They need
Yes.
they need what we're doing to share their story and share their message. We, that that is truly. I know that I have something that I'm super passionate about, and I get to talk about it with you guys. But I'm so grateful that I get to hear other people's stories, and I have these moments of enlightenment or these moments of connection
Hmm.
that I need. I need them for my human survival. I need this,
Right.
and you do too. You out there listening, like you need it too.
We all need it.
You need to hear these stories. You need to know that, your personal bubble and the house that you live in, the car that you drive, that there's so much more outside of those spaces. And there are people that are dealing with horrific tragedies and walking alone through them. And they just need you to reach out your hand.
And another thing we all need to do is just listen to our gut instincts, listen to that still small voice inside. Yeah, it can never lead you wrong. I know when I'm not supposed to do something because my ego and the negative anxiety and depression are yelling at me. But when I quiet down, and I can still feel anxiety, but when I'm driven, to just reach out to somebody, when I'm driven to do something good, maybe smile at that person. I do it. When my soul tells me to do something, I have to do it. I think that's
It
been.
starts to become a reflex. When you start to practice it,
Mhm.
you don't even notice necessarily, and that's me too. Like I smile at everyone. If it looks like someone wants to say something to me, then they're like, I give them the space to do that. And I wasn't always that way. I used to be like, don't talk to me. What do you
Right.
want? Like, something.
Exactly.
And I was so cynical in that way, but now, and I do. I put down my phone. I was at the coffee shop earlier today, and just anyone who wanted to interact with me, I did. I had a ton of things I needed to do, but and I just had these very like human moments that I'm
Right.
able to put in my memory, and go back to, and it gives me that inspiration to keep doing it. And
Right.
it's that reflex.
Another thing that I like to incorporate into my self-care is random acts of kindness, like especially, and I always pray before I go into a store, if I can help somebody in the store, allow me to, God, so I find myself a lot kind of getting behind the person who their cards declined or something. And I'm like, I got it. I can't wait to do it.
Yeah.
Like it's exciting. It's, to do something like that. Um, but however you feel led to serve and to help and to, you know, spread love that's your way.
Sherry can do it. You can do it.
Yes.
Sherry can go through what she's going through, not knowing, where her daughter is day in and day out. If she can do it, you can do
You
it.
have no excuse.
You don't. I hope that makes you feel bad if you're not currently out there serving and doing
No,
something for other people.
and even without this, like I understand what it's like not to love yourself enough to keep going.
Right.
So I get it on every level how difficult it is to find that strength within yourself and not to rely on anybody else to tell you you're worthy enough to become whatever you want to become. You just have to love yourself enough, and you don't have to convince anybody else to love you that much too. Just love yourself that much to just walk in the direction of your dreams. You don't have to accomplish anything today. Just walk in that direction. And then you will have accomplished more than you thought. Your future self will appreciate you so much for that.
I love that.
Absolutely.
Your future self. Yes.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
Thank you so
Beautiful.
much, Sherry. Thank you for what the gifts that you've given to me today. And I hope that we could be a gift to you, just being a
Yes.
platform to spread your
Anything
message.
in the future, anytime that you have something to say or feel that, our audience needs to hear, we want you to call in. Like, please keep this number. And, any way we can help, spread Morgan's message, spread your message, spread some hope. We want to be that for you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you so much. I don't have enough words.
Well, we appreciate you. We really do. I know it's, just to come on here and just, tell your story like that and just to be so open and raw and, giving. You gave a lot today. Just want you to know. And we really appreciate. So any way we can give back, it'd be our honor.
Thank you so much.
So go find rest in that and practice your self care because you deserve it.
I will. Thank you
Yes.
so much.
Thank
All
you.
right. We'll talk
Have
to
a
you
wonderful,
soon.
blessed day.
You
Yes, I look
too.
forward to it. All
Thank
right.
you.
Bye-bye.
Bye
Bye.
bye.
I just want to say we're asking you to share, and we really mean that. Like, if you're not going to share our page, we want you to share our page, but definitely share Missing
Morgan's.
Morgan
Yeah, I'm going to
because,
share it again on here. I'm
you
just going to
know,
put the link.
Matthew 18:20 tells us, "For where two or three gather in my name, there I am with them." There is strength in those numbers. There's power. Um, there's power, so much power in that. So, again, I hope you set your reminders on your phone
Yep.
for
On your
Manifesting
watch, on your
Morgan.
phone.
Whatever you have, write it down if you don't use all that
Let's do a
stuff.
hashtag.
Yes, I'll definitely add it to mine. But just get on the page and watch and see and feel who Morgan is, and then just tonight at 7, please just, if you don't believe in that, just pray. Just whatever, do something for Morgan at 7 o'clock tonight. Um, I knew today was going to be heavy. I knew it was going to really hit home for me, and being so fresh off of having a very exhausting, emotionally draining day. Um, I'm thankful for it because it gives me the strength. It gives me the fuel. I was afraid it was either going to do one of two things, and it did the more positive thing for me. So,
Good.
um, but these are the heavy subjects. These are the things that have to be talked about. They
Have to
have
be
to be
talked
shared.
about.
These are the people that you need to know. Um, because they're your, and I don't mean to say this, not that, your simple life doesn't matter, because you have whatever you're dealing with and what you're going through, it absolutely matters. But you need to have some perspective, listening to
Absolutely.
other people's stories because that's what that just did for me.
Mm-hmm.
I think my situation is kind of severe right now, but and it's not about her having more, what she's
It's
dealing
not
with is
better or
it's not
worse.
better or
It's
worse, but it's just putting it into perspective for me that
exactly.
um, I am trying to be part of the solution. I am, trying to push and press for a better way for all of us. So I want you to do that too. I want you to join me and Chrissy and a warrior. Be a warrior of whatever it is that you are at war with. Warrior for whatever you are at war with. I'm going to write
Um,
that down.
that's good. You need to.
I sometimes I amaze myself.
So there are some local organizations who,
Yes.
this is their passion. They help women who have been sex trafficked or human trafficked, and try and get them out. And these people they're like in the trenches. They're not like hear a story and it's not word of mouth. No, they're like go answering these Craigslist ads and like going and calling these girls and saying, hey, do you want help? Do you want to get out of this? We got you.
They're
And
getting
like going
super
and rescue
resourceful and
yes,
creative.
and going and getting these girls. Like that this is the warriors out there. I mean, they are doing it every day, like rescuing girls, kids, women, you know. So I just want to give them a shout out. It's my personal, one that I really like is
Me
for
too.
Sarah
For Sarah.
.net for number 4 SARAH.net, offering hope to exploited women and girls.
And they're like local just here in
They're
Conyers.
in
You can
Conyers,
get
Georgia.
involved if you're in the surrounding counties or
Yep.
area.
You can
They
donate
have
to them.
opportunities.
Yes. And this is just it's very important to just to be involved in what they do. I know that Casey, the owner, I think she's up for like Woman of the Year in Rockdale County because of her work, because she's absolutely phenomenal. People who are willing to do this, um, and go out and my gosh, it's just amazing. Just like put yourself out there in these dangerous situations and like putting kind of your own life on the line. And it is that serious,
It
I
is.
want you to know it is that serious.
It is. I mean, they're offering scholarships to these
Mm-hmm.
women and girls, to get who want better. They want the education they never got to have, and they don't want to be in that that adult entertainment industry or
They
you know
don't.
you
You
don't want it when
don't.
you go into something like that. You don't want to. It's just that that's where the money is good, and that you can exploit yourself. And we've been so conditioned, women, girls, we've been so conditioned to think it's okay, it's
Right.
okay.
And Casey, she's a mentor to women. She's phenomenal. She does a lot for her organization. I mean, personally, she's not like the head lady and sitting in an office. She's doing it. She's doing it. And so we really need to honor her. So if you can go and like that page, that would be amazing.
Yes.
Another one is um, Divas Who Win Freedom Center. They are actually out of Athens. Um, and they're doing some of the same things. So I think they were with the First Lady, Marty Kemp,
The Grace Commission.
when she did her Grace Commission, No Room for Trafficking. And another thing we need to do is, these hotel rooms, these hotels that,
Your big gaming events
Right.
when you're in Atlanta and you're Falcons games that
right.
like
It's just like the doctors that we're going after now. Now we have to go after like these hotel owners. I'm sorry, but if you're going to turn a blind eye to a child being sold,
yeah,
you know
what's
what I
going on
mean?
now. Like it's been publicized enough that you see that. And just for $1, are we, a night in the hotel like you're what 100, 150 bucks
Right.
that you're pocketing and like how do you sleep? How do you sleep? I mean,
How can you?
and I'm sure that there are people out there that say, well, what are they supposed to do? Just turn them away? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you are.
Yes, turn them away. Is their $35 plus tax worth it? Or you could save the life of a child. I don't know. And we've got some comments here. People would be shocked at how serious sex trafficking is in Georgia. Dondra said that. And then Brett said, yes, they would. Atlanta is the number 7 city in the nation for sex trafficking. I think that's astounding. But biggest airport in the country. Um, straight shot to Florida.
So easy to never see children again, and it happens so often.
Mm.
And that's what Sherry said. Take some time, like when you're sitting in these places and you're on your way to vacation, right? You've worked hard all year, you're going on vacation, you're busy on your phone, on Facebook. This is your release. Put your phone down and look around. That's all. It's things like that. Just take the time. Who knows what your eye will catch that somebody else won't?
Exactly.
Be aware of your surroundings. Train your children to be aware of their surroundings. We are in an age of technology. There is so much a wealth of information, and ways to
Hmm.
to equip and prepare our children. And it is a conversation you've got to have at a very young age. And
Absolutely.
and it's sad, and I'm sorry, but that's where we live, and that's where we're at. And if you're not doing these things, you know, you're in
Could be
trouble.
part of the problem. I don't know. I'm not saying that. But so we have another comment on our YouTube page, and it says we need to find a means of restructuring our societal norms, especially concerning family dynamics and unity within our families. Fix the source of the problem.
Of course,
That's
starts in the home. It does,
absolutely,
and it
and
spreads like
it
wildfire.
does, and I'm not, in Sherry's case, I'm not saying her daughter is probably like a lot of young girls out there. You know what I mean? Just wanting the fast, easy
Attention
money, attention. Because we're told from outside sources, not our families, but outside sources, that we're not
that we're
good
not
enough,
good
that we're not
enough.
pretty enough, that we need to expose every part of our body to be sexy or wanted, or a woman, and it's not right.
It's not. It's
I'm not
not.
saying only show your eyes, but I
Right.
think, yeah,
I mean, you can own your sexuality, and you can own who you are
exactly.
but you don't have to flaunt it. And I'm not on that. I'm not saying here, I don't want to see any comments that are like, I can wear what I want and I shouldn't be, I'm with you. I get it. But I think that there's that accountability piece. So like, I don't want to get anybody all riled up, but you can't walk around half naked because that's just where we live now. I mean, that's if you're attracting that
Right.
sort of. And listen, I've worn some things in my time that I'm.
Same.
This is just coming
A
from
mother.
an older, wiser, and I'm all about having a free spirit, and I'm all about doing, do
Yeah.
you. But we just not where we live. That's just not the times that we live in. So, you know,
Times
I
are
mean, I still have to tell
changing.
my 14-year-old, like, wait, hold on a second. You're not, come on.
I wore my pajamas to the store last night, and Annabelle said, "Aren't you gonna change, Mom?"
Did you do
So
that?
I
Are you one of those
no, they
people?
were cute. I looked cute,
Y'all,
Christina.
she's one of those people.
It was
She wears
so
her pajamas in Walmart.
They were cute. Okay, they were cute.
I love you anyway. Annabelle, I get you.
Annabelle
I
helps me out.
understand.
She does. She keeps me right.
She keeps you straight.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh.
We have a couple more comments. Dirk is saying education at home, education early age in school. Kids here are not to be picked up by others than the parents. That's the same here. He's in Holland, I believe, unless a signed person is appointed out to the teachers. And that's the same here. Yeah. And that's
Well, I'll be
definitely
honest
something
with you. I mean, your
yeah.
high school students. I'm in a high school line where if they had someone that was targeted, um, maybe the conversation had happened through social media. I think about this all the time with my 14-year-old. She's mean though. She'd just kick him in the face. She wouldn't have
Good
these
girl.
conversations. Um, but they're building that. I think we just totally missed out on that piece of it of the internet and social media and how they build those connections and have them. And they could be in that line and pick your child up from school in high school because they're not regulating that.
Right.
There's no like, make sure you have an email saying you go home with this person. I've had my kid who I knew she was going to go home with someone else, but I didn't have to tell them that. Like she was a car rider. She's in the car rider line, and she just got in the car. So if you had this ongoing
Right.
relationship that they were building with a child, and just say, well, just me,
Right.
and just
Right.
pick and right in plain sight for everybody to see. I mean, like that's
I mean, I could really relate to that. When I was in high school, this was when like AOL had first came out and like chat rooms and
yeah, I
everything. And
remember.
and I mean, I was targeted, not I was targeted, but I was like seeking out, male attention at that young age. I think I was like 12 to 13 or 14. And, I was talking to older men on the phone and on these chat rooms just to, I can't even like looking back, I'm like, God, I
What?
can't even
Why did I
talk.
do that?
I
Yeah.
know. Like, I can't, I would never do that now. But at that time, I know that I was broken and I had had a traumatic experience as a young child. And I was very confused about what was right and what was wrong because this situation had happened that was definitely wrong, but it had happened and he was a family member and,
Yeah.
nothing ever happened to him, from it.
Right.
It only happened to me. So it's just a very painful time in my life. And I remember just seeking out bad attention
Yeah.
because I thought that's what I deserved. It had happened. So I thought, well, I guess
That's
I'll
just
have
who I am.
more of that. Yeah, it was the subconscious programming that I had allowed. I had built up these beliefs about myself that I wasn't good enough, that things like this were supposed to happen to me because I was wrong and I was dirty and
Dirty.
and
Yeah, I know.
I wasn't a good person. I remember thinking these things. I don't think them now, thank God. But what happened, and I was probably this close at any given point to saying, yeah, I'll meet you,
Me
or
too.
yeah,
I
send me some
totally.
money. You know
Yes.
what I mean? And we didn't talk about these things then because they weren't prevalent. But now they are, and I feel like we still don't talk about them. So I
Yeah,
want to read
well,
some
and
things
now
too.
we've
Yeah.
added in the whole media telling them that too, not
Right.
just having experiences that may stem from family members or whatnot, at a young age, but now the media, I mean, they're seeing it from such a young age, like it's constantly pushed in their
It's
faces.
absolutely constant. It's sex, drugs, and rock and roll constantly. I want to read what Brett is saying. He said in a 5-year span, human trafficking cases rose by over 100% from 2012 to 2017 in Atlanta alone. Human traffic has a revenue more than illegal drugs and gun trade combined. It's a problem in every city. And that's insane. That is insane. 100% increase in 5 years, and that's 2017. I mean, it might have increased another 100% in between then because it's like, I don't understand, but it's like wildly popular to like lust after young women, young.
Ugh.
It's I
It,
don't know.
and I'll say this, like, like they've become so creative, and it's such a global issue and so resourceful in the way that they're doing it is, they're taking, I think I talked about it before, but it's worth mentioning again with my own daughter and seeing it like they groom other young women to
Right.
to bring in the
Prob-
younger
because
ones,
they have to
and then
survive.
right. And so, if they were to be caught, it wouldn't be the actual sex trafficker, human trafficker. It
Right.
it
It's
would be that young lady that they had groomed out there. So it's like they're almost like pimping the pimp. Like it's this whole like domino effect.
right.
So, if they're caught, it can be that young woman that they've groomed, you
Exactly.
know, not them,
Exactly.
not the
Who's
root of
threatened
it.
with her life, to never tell. I mean, that was true for me in my situation. Um, Another thing is, and Sherry mentioned this, is that these people are also being sold for their organs. We have,
You guys.
yeah, and that's legit. That's true because our healthcare is so messed up that you have to be on a waiting list for years to get an organ. You have to be in perfect health, pretty much. I mean, I know that I have a friend who is waiting on a kidney, and he cannot smoke cigarettes for 6 months before he's even eligible to be put on the list. And I'm not saying that that's a bad thing. Okay, I'm not saying that at all. That's probably a healthy choice, healthy
Absolutely. It
decision. But
is. But
does like being a smoker negate like your your life? You know, And who's to say? And then we have these small children, like the rate of childhood cancer is astronomical, you know, uh, in this day and age. And so I mean, I can't tell you, like, from my perspective, if there was like a kidney available in the black market that I wouldn't, you know what I mean? I'm
Well,
not
that you
saying that
said something so poignant, so truthful is our healthcare system, which we've touched on that already. Um, you, it's it's not built to help. It's not built to serve anymore. It's everything is to make a dollar. Everything.
yeah, it just is, y'all. It just is.
And at what point? How lowly and sickening is it to make money off of humans? Because it's and we're doing it in so many different ways. Human trafficking just looks different. It's just its own. It's a guise, in all of our different facets. But to just blatantly sell another. What right do you have to sell another human's body
Oh, God.
for any purpose? I don't care what it is. You know, it it's impacting our society in ways, that whole trickle down effect.
It's just like one bad thing to the next, honestly. It's
Too much sometimes, you guys. It's too much.
absolutely
But, you know, like he said, Dirk said that it's the recruiting network.
right.
Like and it's growing, like vastly widening. Even as we sit here and speak,
Mhm.
someone right now, you know, is being their lives are being ripped away. And how, how can you get involved? How can you make a difference? And if it's not on a some big grand level, it is sharing that smile. It is saying, "Are you okay?" You know, it is the hug. It's the simplicity of just being a human being. I I don't know, guys. If you can do something that simple, just get outside of yourself, and it could be such a part of such a bigger change.
Wow. And then Rich said something. He said diabetes has slowed the process of organ donations. The doctors will not allow kidneys or hearts, etc., because of how we're eating and we're,
Don't get me on my
my God, it's
soapbox.
all bad. It's all bad.
We've only got 8 more minutes, so don't get me on my soapbox, Rich, because I will definitely, tell you that your gut health has so much to
It's
do
so important.
with that. Um, and you know, gosh, I'm learning so much in my gut health journey. Just so much that it's like the light bulbs have come on, and I'm currently in a place where I'm not eating a whole lot. I'm not eating enough, but when I do try to feed my body, I do my best to make sure it's good for me, good like clean, just ugh.
Supposed to eat. This is kind of weird, but I was at this beautiful, beautiful park yesterday. I went with the kids. I felt that they needed a mental health day, so we did that. Um, and uh, my daughter, for some reason, she's having a hard time. I won't go into her details, but school's harder this year. It's a different class and everything, and more serious, I think. And she's just having a harder time, and we needed a mental health day, so we went to this beautiful park. It was like a wetland, so they had oh my gosh, they had all these lily pads and lotuses. I saw a lotus for the first time in my life, and it was so beautiful.
Where?
It's in Conyers.
Oh my
It's
gosh.
at the horse park.
Right outside my door.
Yes, it is amazing. It was absolutely amazing. I don't even think it's actually technically Conyers. I think it's Oxford. Where
Okay.
it's at technically.
I gotta
It's on
go.
Costly Mill, or, Horse Park Road.
Yeah.
But it was absolutely amazing. And we're just thinking, and, there's these like berries on a tree. And I was thinking about, like, gosh, I was telling the kids, like, we used to just go and find the food, and like, how beautiful is that? I don't know. It just, it's like,
Yeah,
I don't
it
know if I want to
is.
be like a gatherer,
No, I don't
or,
I don't
you know what I mean? But
I like the idea.
the
I like to say it
simplicity
out
of
loud,
it
but I don't
was
know how to do it.
it was so beautiful.
Right. To know that you could do well, now we don't, you got to be careful what you can't just eat anything, whatever. But well, even back then, you had to be careful too. But
Absolutely.
you know, I that just the simplicity of life has been ripped away from us. We've made things so complicated, and now here we sit in our messes, and we're like, well, why? I don't understand. Like, what?
Right.
Come on.
We
Stop
know why.
asking for everything fast, easy. Like,
Yes.
we gotta reverse the damage that's been done so that we can put an end to things like human trafficking, so that we can help the neurodiverse, so that we can prevent addictions from forming of all kinds. You
Scotty.
know?
Hello.
Hello?
Hello. This is Chrissy from.
Yes. Is Scotty there?
He's not on this phone.
Oh, okay.
He
Well,
is
this
on.
is what I got I just called his the messenger thing, and it just said Scotty Spence. That's why I'm calling you.
Oh, great. Well,
okay.
you're on the radio.
Yep, you're on the
So.
show.
Oh, well, isn't that great? I just sent him a message. I just sent him a message with my phone number. Have him call me, please.
No
I have some
problem.
information for him.
Sure.
Thank you.
Sure. Thank you.
Yep. Have a great day.
You too.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
I heard something ring and I was like, and then I looked at the
Like, we don't have another caller.
like,
What's
who's
happening?
this? That's amazing.
Well, there we go.
That's amazing. Very funny.
It's so funny.
All right. Well, we'll give Scotty that message.
So we are, just to kind of touch back on that gut health, we are working on an upcoming program that will really kind of get deeper into that. So, we're hoping to get a physician who can really talk to you about on that scholarly level of
Yes.
someone that has the holistic health background and has done their work and are fighting that good fight out there for us, and
Yes.
will tell us
Has
why
the information that we need.
the information that we need
From a doctor.
and from a doctor. And then also in the second part, I have the Gutsy Health podcast that I follow on Apple. It is incredible and has changed my life. And I've been in constant communication with those folks and the programs that they are facilitating and what they're doing and why they changed their whole lifestyle. And it directly correlates with addiction and depression and mental health diagnosis. So it'll be a really good show. We're piecing that together. So
Yes.
keep on the lookout for that.
And sad news, we are taking a week off next week. So I have a trip planned with my dad that I'm very much looking forward to and can't
You
cancel.
deserve it.
And so it's, we're going to go to Myrtle Beach and look for shark teeth.
Yay!
It's
Bring me
gonna be
back one.
amazing. Yes, absolutely. Everybody gets one. And then after that, we will be back, and we are looking at some really amazing guests. So we're very, very excited. I had the
Mhm.
pleasure of going to the Athens Recovery Fest, and I met some wonderful people who are doing amazing things. So we're going to talk to some of them, and just can keep on keeping on. And in the meantime, if you need to reach us, you can always message the 030 to Recovery page. You can message us individually anytime. Please don't hesitate. We would love to be there for you in any way that we can. So
You mean
that's
that.
that.
These aren't just words. The things that we say, we truly mean it. We are here. It's a safe place. We don't share your information. We may talk to each other to get kind of a different viewpoint and how we can
Exactly.
help, and maybe the different connections that one of us has that the other might not. But this is safe. Always
We
safe.
are in a safe space.
Absolutely. All right. So you guys need to keep being a warrior.
Yes. Warrior. Anything else? Oh, never too late. Don't ever forget. Okay. Don't ever forget.
Don't ever forget. It's never too late. Don't ever forget. It's never too late. That's what she was going to say.
I was going to say that. No, but Christina's nonprofit is called Never Too Late, and please go and the page and share it. I have a business page, Recovery Out Loud. You can find it on Facebook. And just, if you'd like to support us, we would be so very happy for that.
Yes.
Yeah. Hey, thank you. Sorry. But we will see you October 15th. That'll be our next show. So we love y'all so much. Thank you
Yes,
so
we
much
love
for tuning
you.
in and supporting the show. And please like and share the page. We really want to spread this message to as many people as possible, especially this show, especially today's show. We really want to be a voice for Morgan.
It's a
And
big
her
message
mom.
today, you guys. Big
Yeah.
message.
So if you can share, we would really, really appreciate that. But thank y'all so much and have a lovely Thursday.
Bye.
Bye.
It's 2018, y'all. Don't you know smoking's bad for you? You need to go check out my buddies down there at Raging Vapors. They're located in Loganville.